Charlie Chaplin. Early life in London. Charles Spencer Chaplin was born on April 16, 1889, in London, England, to Charles Chaplin Sr. and Hannah Hill. His father was a singer and composer who struggled with alcoholism, and his mother was a singer and actress. Chaplin's early life was one of hardship. His parents' tumultuous relationship ended in divorce, and his mother faced financial difficulties. At the age of 7, Chaplin's father disappeared from his life, leaving his mother to care for him and his half-brother, Sidney. His mother had mental health issues and eventually spent time in a mental asylum, leaving Charlie and his brother to fend for themselves in the workhouses and orphanages of London. These early experiences of poverty, neglect, and abandonment would later influence his work, particularly the character of the tramp, whom he would come to embody in the silent film era. The beginnings of a career. At the age of 9, Charlie began performing in London's music halls, a place where he developed his knack for physical comedy. He performed with several different vaudeville troupes and learned to entertain crowds with his slapstick routines. During this time, he began to refine his talents as a mime, which would eventually become a hallmark of his acting style. By 1910, Chaplin joined the Fred Carnot Repertoire Company, a British vaudeville troupe that would later have a significant impact on his career. It was with this company that he toured the United States, and it was during this tour that Chaplin was introduced to the emerging world of cinema. Silent film stardom Chaplin made his film debut in 1914 with the Keystone Film Company, where he starred in short comedies like Kid Auto Races at Venice and The Tramp, which introduced his iconic tramp character, a kind-hearted, penniless, and bumbling figure with a bowler hat, a toothbrush mustache, and a cane. This character became one of the most beloved and enduring figures in cinema history. Chaplin's ability to combine slapstick humor with deep emotion was groundbreaking. As the tramp, he explored the human condition with grace and pathos, making his films both funny and heart-wrenching. The audience could relate to his character, seeing him as an underdog who always tried to make the best of his circumstances, despite often being caught in the harsh realities of life. In 1917, Chaplin formed his own production company, Chaplin Studios, which gave him more creative control over his work. During this time, he made some of his most famous films, including The Kid, 1921, which was both a critical and commercial success. In The Kid, Chaplin blended comedy with social commentary, telling the story of a poor man who adopts an abandoned child. The film showcased Chaplin's mastery of both comedy and drama and cemented his place as a global star. A revolutionary artist, as Chaplin's fame grew, so did his ambitions. He started to experiment with more complex narratives and themes, and by the mid-1920s, he had become a cultural icon. His 1925 film, The Gold Rush, is often considered one of his finest works, filled with both hilarious slapstick moments, like Chaplin eating his shoe, and poignant scenes of loneliness and human resilience. But Chaplin was not content to rest on his laurels. He wanted to push the boundaries of film, and with City Lights, 1931, he created one of the greatest silent films of all time, even though the world had already embraced sound films. In City Lights, Chaplin's tramp character falls in love with a blind woman and strives to raise money for an eye surgery that will restore her sight. The film is a masterwork of both comedy and sentiment, with Chaplin's emotive performance showcasing the power of silent film to communicate deep emotion without the use of words. The talkies and controversy. Although Chaplin was the king of silent film, the advent of sound in cinema posed a challenge to his career. But Chaplin's talent as a filmmaker allowed him to transition seamlessly into the era of the talkies. His first sound film was The Great Dictator, 1940, a satirical comedy that mocked Adolf Hitler and the rise of fascism in Europe. Chaplin portrayed both a ruthless dictator, Adenoid Hinkle, and a humble Jewish barber who resembled the dictator, using humor to critique the growing threat of Nazism. The film was a huge success and showcased Chaplin's courage to use his art for political purposes. However, Chaplin's outspoken political views and his advocacy for social justice particularly his sympathy for the poor and oppressed, led to controversy in America during the McCarthy era. He became a target of anti-communist sentiment, and in 1952, while traveling to London for a film premiere, Chaplin was denied re-entry to the United States due to his alleged communist sympathies. Later, life and legacy Chaplin eventually settled in Switzerland with his wife, Una O'Neill, the daughter of playwright Eugene O'Neill. Despite his exile from Hollywood, he continued to make films, though none were as successful as his earlier works. His final film, A Countess from Hong Kong, 1967, was a commercial failure. Chaplin lived the remainder of his life in Switzerland, where he enjoyed a quieter, more private existence. He was honored with numerous awards and accolades, including an honorary Academy Award in 1972 for his incalculable impact on the world of film. In 1975, Chaplin was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II for his contributions to cinema and the arts. He passed away on December 25, 1977, at the age of 88. His legacy lives on, not just in the films he made, but in the enduring image of the tramp, which continues to resonate with audiences today. Chaplin is remembered as one of the greatest and most influential filmmakers in history, whose work transcended time and language barriers. Charlie Chaplin's life was a reflection of his art, full of struggle, creativity, and an enduring belief in the humanity of people, no matter their social standing. His ability to blend humor with deep emotion set him apart from other comedians and filmmakers of his time, and his contributions to cinema remain a touchstone for artists today.